Welcome to the Folktale Project. This is Dan Charles. Today we have one final ghost story from Maine. This story I may have told before, but it fits so perfectly with the first two. And, quite honestly, I like it a lot. This is The Owl Tree. One day in October, 1827, Reverend Charles Sharpley rode into Alfred, Maine, and held service in the meeting house. After the sermon, he announced that he was going to Waterboro to preach, and that on his circuit he had collected $270 to help build a church in that village. Would not his hearers add to that sum? They would, and did, and that evening the parson rode away with over $300 in his saddlebags. He never appeared in Waterboro. Some of the country people gave tongue to their fear that the possession of the money had made him forget his sacred calling, and he had fled the state. On the morning after his disappearance, however, Deacon Dickerman appeared in Alfred riding on a horse that was declared to be the minister's, until the tavern hostler affirmed that the minister's horse had a white star on forehead and breast, whereas this horse was all black. The deacon said that he found his horse grazing in his yard at daybreak, and that he would give it to whoever could prove it to be his property. Nobody appeared to demand it, and people soon forgot that it was not his. He extended his business at about that time and prospered. He became a rich man for the little place, though as his wealth increased he became morose and averse to company. One day a rumor went around that a belated traveler had seen a misty thing under the owl tree at the turn of a road where owls were hooting, and that it took on a strange likeness to the missing clergyman. Dickerman paled when he heard that story, but he shook his head and muttered of the folly of listening to the boy nonsense. 10 years had gone by. During that time the boys had avoided the owl tree after dark, when a clergyman of the neighborhood was hastily summoned to see Mr. Dickerman, who was said to be suffering from overwork. He found the deacon in his house alone, pacing the floor, his dress disordered, his cheek hectic. "I have not long to live," said he, "nor would I live longer if I could. I am haunted day and night, and there is no peace, no rest for me on earth. They say that Sharpley's spirit has appeared at the owl tree. Well, his body lies there. They accused me of taking his horse. It is true. A little black dye on his head and breast was all that was needed to deceive them. Pray for me, for I fear my soul is lost. I killed Sharpley." The clergyman recoiled. "I killed him," the wretched man went on, "for the money that he had. The devil prospered me with it. In my will I will leave $2,000 to his widow and $5,000 to the church he was collecting for. Will there be mercy for me there? I dare not think it. Go, pray for me." The clergyman hastened away, but was hardly outside the door when the report of a pistol brought him back. Dickerman lay dead on the floor. Sharpley's body was exhumed from the shade of the owl tree, and the spot was never haunted after. And that is The Owl Tree, a story of murder and deceit from Maine. This is Dan Scholes with the Folktale Project. Don't forget that you can subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play, Overcast, anywhere you like to get your podcasts. You can follow us on Twitter at Folktale Project. You can find us on Auto Radio, TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio, Spotify, anywhere you like to listen. And you can always head over to folktaleproject.com, where you'll find a new story waiting for you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Next week, we'll be back with 3 new stories. As always, thank you so much for listening.